Welcome again to everyone. Welcome to, unfortunately, our last video on this book called Fundamentals of Christian Education. Well, it's the last video for right now. This is number 30. And as I mentioned, I was going to stop at presentation number 30. And so today is the day. I may start a different book in the beginning of October, and for another 30 day again. And so I'm very thankful for the people that have watched the video so far, whether they agreed or disagreed. Uh, my mission is to just present the truth, and if they don't want to, they can take it or reject it. Then that's that's also a fair game. And so today we're gonna end with this with the second part of education and health. And so I wanted to welcome everyone, those that are here right now, and those that will be hopefully watching later on. And my only mission is to make sure that the people that are that more people actually get to know what the truth is about certain things. And so the more you like the videos, the more Christian people will be able to see it and understand certain things. Today is Monday, September 28th, 2020, and it will be the beginning of that second part on the chapter called Education and Health. And so we're going to start right now and look at what we have to learn from this. And it begins: students should not be permitted to take so many studies that they will have no time for physical training. The health cannot be preserved unless some portion of each day is given to muscular exertion in the open air. Like I mentioned earlier, one of my video, I think it was the video for part one. And especially here in this country, most of the classes are non-ventilated classes. It's run in by AC, and AC cannot take the place of the natural air that we have outside. And so, even though it's cold or it's good or it's warm, that would not be able to excuse me, to compete with what God has given us. That actually is good for our lungs and everything else. Stated hours, and actually the other thing is when people do go to do exercise, they also go into a gym, and of course the gym is closed. In a closed gym, AC again or heat, it depending on the time of the weather or depending on the weather, and so they barely get any fresh air that you could enjoy. So either way, we are actually messing up with our health. Stated hours should be devoted to manual labor of some kind, anything which will call into action all parts of the body. That's why when you're planting, you will literally exercise every single part of the body. If you go to work out, you can decide to work out your chest, your upper arm, your triceps, your and all that thing, your calf muscles, your glutes, your abs, your back, upper back or lower back. But when you're doing some manual labor, you will be using all parts of the body equally all the time. And so you won't be big in one area and then small in the area, basically. Equalize the taxation of the mental and physical powers, and the mind of the student will be refreshed. If he is diseased, physical exercise will often help the system to recover its normal condition. When students leave college, they should have better health and a better understanding of the laws of life than when they entered it. The health should be as sacredly guarded as the character. Interesting, huh? Um, when people are diseased, especially in the US, that's why I'm very thankful I didn't grow up in the US. Because so many things I've seen, I was like, wow, if they were in my country, they would have been healed already. Um, what I've seen in the US is people are sick, they tend to stay inside of the house, or they go to the doctor. For anything, they go to the doctor, or they don't want to get out. Actually, when you get out of the house, get the sunshine, and let's say you go for a bike ride, by bicycle meaning, or a walk. Even a simple walk will help your health get better. But they prefer to stay inside because if you go outside, they're afraid of the germs and bacteria. I'm like, no, that's why we have the sun that kills bacteria, or at least the bad ones. And so you don't stay home because you're sick. I have a friend, one of my best friend. When he is sick, he likes to stay in his room. And I said, "Hey, let's go outside." You know, I mean, because I know what it is. And so, it, when I'm sick, I still go outside because when you stay inside, you don't get sunlight, you don't get fresh air. So basically, you're just breathing your own ox carbon dioxide again. So we need to be better at this. Actually, many students are deplorably ignorant of the fact that diet exerts a powerful influence upon the health when it comes to food as well. Some have never made a determined effort to control the appetite or to observe proper rules in regard to diet. They eat too much, even at their meals, even at their meals, and some eat between meals whenever the temptation is presented. And I have so many people that eat 5, 6, 7 times a day. And I ask them, how do you do that? You see, people, there are people that will look at that video and dislike it, or probably talk trash about it. But interestingly, they won't have any excuse for not knowing any better. What happens to you when you eat in between meals? So let's say, for instance, you have a day like this. You start working at 7 in the morning. Your lunchtime, you have a break at 11 o'clock, or let's say 10:45. A break at 10:45. Your lunch is at 12:30. Okay, and you finish work at 3, or let's say, yes, 3, or let's say 3:30 instead. You know what? Let's make it a better example. You start your work at 6 o'clock. You have your first break at 9:45. That's like a 15-minute break. Then you get your lunchtime at 12. Okay, and you finish work at 2:30. So basically, you would eat maybe 5:40 or 5:35, 5:40. By 5:50, you should be done eating. You go to work. So from 5:50, you're done. You should drink water about 2 hours later. So maybe around 7:50 or 8 o'clock, you drink water. Because if you drink water after you eat, what your stomach will do is it will stop the hard food digestive system and do the easy one first. So it would do the water first, and then it will do like whatever you were eating, that was the hard food. And so, and your stomach takes about 5 hours or 6 hours to completely uh, digest the food and rest. And so, from 5:50 you eat, your first break is at 9:45. So it's just basically 4 hours, and then you go and eat again, which means your stomach is still trying to finish that first diet, that first food you put in at 5:50. Then you put another one. So now it has to work twice to finish the first one and then start the next one, which means it doesn't get to rest. Then at 12 o'clock, you get your other break, which is your lunchtime. Then you go and eat. So now it has already finished the 5 o'clock or 5:50 food. It's still working on that 9:45 food that you just put in your body. And now you put one at 12 again. So that's like maybe 2 hours and 50 minutes left apart. What that does is you don't let your stomach to rest from working. Yes. And then after 2:30 you're done, you go home. What do? You get something to eat again. So from 5:50, 9:45, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:30, you're done working. That's your fourth time eating. And of course, 6 o'clock, you have to eat again. And if you have to watch any game, you're gonna want to get some popcorn or some pizza to add more food to your stomach. And then the same thing goes around and around every single day. And your stomach never gets to rest. But you might be thinking, oh, but when I'm sleeping, is actually resting. Uh, no. When you're sleeping, you have a stack of food stuck in your stomach. And that's why some people, when they go to when they get up in the morning, they feel some burned in their stomach because they got too much food. Actually, if you didn't know that, if you eat a lot of food before you go to sleep, um, you can have nightmare. Yes, because your stomach is not designed to be working all day every day. We as people, we don't do that, but we let our stomach work all day every day. We are very blessed that God made that part of our body very strong. If it were not, many more people would have died already. And so, appetite. We have to learn to control our appetite. Don't be eating. Don't just put food in your mouth any time of the day. Make a schedule and then stick to that schedule. After like 20 days, a month, it's gonna become just second nature to you. And if you train your stomach, and actually what I do is when I eat my breakfast, even after 6 hours, I don't even feel hungry because my stomach knows the schedule. Okay, okay, and then about 30 minutes before I go to lunch, I start feeling some uh acidity. It's like, okay, I'm already getting ready because I know soon there will be food coming in. Like your stomach doesn't need you to do the work; it's doing it by itself, and it knows what time you're gonna be eating. So you start preparing for that because soon there's gonna be food coming in, and when you do that, it works better for you actually. So if you want to take my advice, you can take it. If you want to reject it, then you can do that as well. So they eat too much, of course, and they don't get over temptation. If those who profess to be Christians desire to solve the question so perplexing to them, why their minds are so dull, why their religious aspirations are so feeble, they need not, in many instances, go further than the table. Here is cause enough if there were no other. So on the table. Many separate themselves from God by their indulgence of appetite. He who notices the fall of a sparrow, who numbers the very hairs of the head, marks the sin of those who indulge perverted appetite at the expense of weakening the physical powers, benumbing the intellect, and deadening the moral perceptions. That's what happens. The teachers themselves should give proper attention to the laws of health that they may preserve their own powers in the best possible condition, and by example as well as by precept may exert a right influence upon the pupils. The teacher whose physical powers are already enfeebled by disease or overwork should pay special attention to the laws of life. He should take time for recreation. He should not take upon himself responsibility outside of his schoolwork, which will so tax him physically or mentally that his nervous system will be unbalanced, for in this case he will be unfitted to deal with minds and cannot do justice to himself or to his pupils. So what happens is, um, have you ever noticed people that are overweight or that are diabetic? They are the one that are trying to counsel people on what to eat. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's like somebody who's blind and is trying to counsel people on how to drive. Like, what? You don't see anything. How can you? And so, and so, um, if you are unhealthy, and being unhealthy doesn't mean you're overweight or you're fat. No, 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 no. That is just a one part. You can be unhealthy mentally. You can be unhealthy spiritually. You can be unhealthy psychologically, neurologically. It's not just about physical unhealthiness. There's more to that. Like when Jesus was healing the sick, he didn't only heal their body, he also healed their spirituality. Because whatever you do to the body affects your spiritual life. People forget that part. And you can see that people that do smoking, they spend more money on anything because. And I was talking to a coworker the other day, and she has all kinds of health issues. And I was talking to her, and we were just having a conversation. And I happened to be sitting when they were talking, and I said to her, "Well, if you complain about your health, why do you keep doing this same thing? At least you should try to change it." And her response is, "I want to change, but I can't." I said, "Yes, you can. You can change it." And then we got to talk about spending money and all that. And I say, no, you should not be spending your money like that because that's not good. Because one day you might need your money very in a necessarily way, and you may not have it. You need to try to not spend your money on things you don't need. And I told her, that's the thing about Americans that I just don't understand and I don't like, actually. They waste their money. Like they would I'm not saying not to buy things, but if you're gonna buy things, at least use it. Now if you buy like a tennis shoe, like what I do is I buy tennis shoes for the next maybe 2 or 3 years because I have some, and when they're about to get bad, I already know I have one to use. But I'm not gonna be buying food, and she was saying, yes, I have a lot of food, and then she was just throwing them away because she never ate them. And I said, okay, then buy what you're gonna be eating. Don't buy too many things. And so, mm, and because of the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna be eating all the time, which plays in your appetite, which messes up with your mind. You can't think right. And so when you find out you're not gonna eat all the things that you bought, you start throwing them away, meaning you're wasting money. And God gave us the money to use to benefit others. But we are so caught up into self that we become very selfish. Very selfish. And trust me, that also goes to the Christian and non Christian. Yes, that one goes to the Christian and non Christian. And if I do something like that too, it goes up to me. But praise God, I always ask Him not to allow me to spend money on things I don't need. Sometimes you go to the market and you say you're gonna buy something, and then you see something else, you're like, oh, I really wanna buy that one. But the question is, do you need it or do you want it? Hmm? Because if you want it, then don't buy it. If you're gonna need it, that's a different story. Let's move on. Last paragraph. Our institutions of learning should be provided with every facility for instruction regarding the mechanism of the human system. Students should be taught how to breathe, how to breathe, how to breathe, how to read and speak so that the strain will not come on the throat and lungs, but on the abdominal muscle. Teachers need to educate themselves in this direction. Our students should have a thorough training that they may enter upon active life with an intelligent knowledge of the habitation which God has given them. Teach them that they must be learners as long as they live. Teach them that they must be learners as long as they live. Every day you're living, you're learning something new. You should be learning something new. And while you are teaching them, remember that they will teach others. Your lesson repeated for the benefit of many more than sit before you day by day. So, if you think when you're teaching, you're only teaching to one or two or 20 people, you're actually teaching to maybe 1,000. And so, those that will be seeing this video, even though I may be teaching, I don't know, even though you may get like, I don't know, 9 views, 10 or 20 views, if they actually watch it, um, if they actually watch the video, then I can guarantee you, whatever I'm speaking right now will resonate to maybe 100, maybe 1,000 people. And so it is not a shame to to present the truth, because the truth will always win at the end of the day. Uh, but now we are just done with this part. We are done with this book. I'm not too sure exactly what day I'm gonna start for the new book. It's gonna be in October. It could be in the first week of October or the second week. I don't know yet, but I will. When the time comes, you will see me again with a different book, and that book actually is called Mind, Character, and Personality. And I'm gonna do that part as well, 30 video on it as well. So thank you, all of you guys that have been watching day by day. Even if you watch maybe like 5 minutes or maybe 5 seconds, still, um, I hope you watch at least more than 5 minutes. That'll be very good. Uh, if you do not, well, if you like more of those, you can always subscribe, because I'm always gonna be making videos. Maybe, I don't know, starting in October. And if you like to get more people to see this, you can always like, so that Other people that might be looking for the same thing might be able to see it quicker. And again, it was me, Mario Michel, your host, all this time. That was always saying, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope to see you again. I'm not too sure exactly when again that's going to be. But if I do not see you again at all, then I hope to see you again when Jesus Christ comes the second time. Yeah, when I say that, I mean I actually mean I will see you in heaven, not not in hell. All right. If I want to see you again, I want to see you in heaven, not in hell. So because the majority will not go to heaven anyways. So I hope you are part of the minority. And yes, until then, until then, bye for now.